whatever you like.
Whatever you like. You can have whatever you like. Whatever you make me lose it. You make me lose. You make me lose it. You make me lose.
You can have whatever you like. You can have whatever you like. When the beat goes off, we bang to the. You can have whatever you like.
Whatever you like. Like. You can have whatever you like. Whatever you make me lose it. You make me lose. You make me lose it. You make me lose.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I can let up. They get not tired of me never. Give me a shot and I swear I shoot like Berettas. Yeah. They getting nervous, I seen it. What I seen, you wouldn't believe it. They say they want it, I need it. Damn. I'm going dumb like I dropped out of class. Get in my lane and I'm going right past. I turn it up, watch me go to the max. You ain't it first and you know that you last. I thought I told them I'm coming right back. I got a flows like it came from the tap and I came from my city, this right on my back. Oof. Back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I can let up. They get not tired of me never. Give me a shot and I swear I shoot like Berettas. Back and I'm better than ever. I think I got a vendetta. Oh, now they call me, I seen them. All of those times getting severed. I told them all I can let up. They get not tired of me never. Give me a shot and I swear I shoot like Berettas. That's how I shoot. Lately I'm driven like I'm on the road. They in my lane, I got told on the move. Now that I'm popping, got too much to lose. Look at the numbers, got nothing to prove. I'm in the city, just me and my crew. Told me I'm sick and I know that it's true, but I'm still gonna ball, it's like I got a flu. Yeah, run it up, I told them that I'm coming back. So let me get all of that. Time is now, I'm coming around to get.
He goes in and he steals the Baron.
Oh yes.
He goes in and he steals the Baron.
Oh yes.
Well, you know, the second time's the charm. Hello and welcome to Battle for Scotland. Many battles have been fought on these fields and glens. There used to be swords and pikes, but now it's keyboards and mice, as Overwatch is crescendoing into a grand final. 3 teams will be competing today. We already have the Chargers ahead in the grand finals. They're sitting pretty, waiting in the lobby, sitting back, just waiting to watch what happens in this matchup between these 2 teams.
It's going to be University of Edinburgh and the University of Aberdeen for match 1, and then match 2 will be GCU, or the Chargers, against the winner.
Exactly, and that means that these two first teams, not only do they need to think about their opponent right now and winning this matchup, if they win, it's not over. They have to win 2 in a row, and that's the pleasure that GCU have for winning in the upper bracket and getting a nice wee placement in the grand finals. Whereas these two teams, they still have to fight it out to even be in the grand finals. And I mean, it's not going to be easy, but hey,
oh no,
these
definitely
teams, surely they have it in them.
And with Edinburgh and Abertay, they have this first round to figure out their strategies and put them to work and ensure that they can continue that in through all three maps and then into game 2.
Exactly.
Which is a big struggle.
Struggle, that's the word, right? I mean, not only do you need to have the endurance to, play 2 games in a row, but you also have to be focused, because you can't think about the Chargers right now. That's the future. We're not even there yet. It's the battle of the East Coast, right? Edinburgh versus Abertay, the battle of fish and chips and sauce, or whatever the East Coast people say these days. As you might be able to tell, I'm on the West Coast, so I don't really know what goes on over there in those mystical lands. But what will be going on today is a battle, and we already have 2 bans here. A Lucio ban from Abertay, Edinburgh banning Winston. What do you think of these bans here?
So I agree that the Lucio ban, he is currently very, very favoured in the meta, with the range of his heals and just how much healing he can get out with that single just amp. As soon as that's there on the field, it kind of is a tool that they can use to force the enemies out of the fight. And obviously with it being Ilios, there's obviously the well on one of the maps, which can lead to a lot of accidental deaths and a lot of misplay. And Lucio can force that to happen with his boop.
I'm now recounting every time I've been booped recently into the well,
Yep.
especially
Yeah,
with the recent changes in tank with the sub roles. Not all of them have steadfast anymore, and I found that out the hard way one map on Ilios. And the response is the Winston ban. So you get rid of the speed, which really helps. Things are maybe a bit more brawly, that need a bit more speed to maneuver. So Edinburgh have just kind of tackled, okay, let's get rid of just that hard dive. I'm personally surprised to see a Winston ban rather than a Diva ban, but then this might be more targeted towards what Abertay specifically play.
Yeah, the Diva ban would be more common, as she is more meta than Winston is, but we're getting right into the game.
And we'll be starting on Lighthouse, and that beacon of the light itself is going to be what's going to bring these teams home. They've got a big journey ahead of them, but we have to focus on each map here. For Abertay, we have Ash and Flosh on DPS. Reddish going to be on the tank, on the Diva that we were just talking about. Alice and Bantrap going to be there on the support lineup. Edinburgh running Armada, Ross, DPS line, Mats on the tank, Fire, and Ensam on the support line.
Personally, I really like the Juno Kiriko. It gives them the movement speed that they don't have from the Lucio, and it's, again, Kiriko. She can pump out so many heals, she has so much util from that Suzu. It just does so much.
And that railgun as well from Armada going to be building up, and you're going to see the poking of the damage from both the Kiriko and that Wuyang like you're talking about, just forcing Armada into an uncomfortable spot. Meanwhile, Ross sneaking around the side and falls up with Mats, who takes out Bantrap, and that's going to really...
Now, with a healer down at the start of the round, the point's open. They're really at a disadvantage here, Abertay.
Yeah, and it's just going to be cleanup now. Reddish is just kind of like holding the fore. I mean, they don't really have the points, you just kind of charge at this point. Now the teams are kind of settling in here. Initial point goes to Edinburgh. They can set up. Now it's for UAA, who are going to have a harder time with this backline getting into position because it's slower moving versus the speed boost you're going to get from the speed ring.
Oh, 100%. Late game, they could have that the Mizuki perk that gives move speed, but it's not for a long time from now.
Positioning on the point, but again forced out. Mats is going in deep though, so could get caught out. Reddish is actually going to be the one that goes low. Fire on 1 HP, just about surviving, and
Just manages to escape that. And you see the cage here on the right hand side. It's very contentious because it gives them really good lines of sight onto both the objective and where the enemies are going to be pushing onto point from. Especially with the health pack there, the Tracer can just, as they've shown, hold that space. They have 2 health packs. Tracer gets the added HP from health packs as well, so it makes her almost unkillable.
Yes, and Armada taking out Band Trap. That's 2 down. Edinburgh, a very strong point here where it's just they're struggling to get in here already with the Tracer pick, and they're continuing to push it, but there's just so many ults ready from Edinburgh here.
Oh yeah, and both teams have this D.Va bomb, so as soon as that D.Va gets demech'd, they have to be focused on killing the baby D.Va, otherwise it's just a free remake. Most teams, you don't really see them use that D.Va bomb as an assault tool, it's more of a defensive tool to just get them back up to that high HP count.
This is going to be a very big fight. Lots of ults ready here. Already the Kitsune Rush coming out from Alice, so she lays it down. Fan Trap, though, is already down. Doesn't get the ability to use their ultimate. Ross
The Orbital Ray comes out.
up.
It looks like everyone's just pressing Q at the same time here. All ultimates used, other than the Sanctuary from Mizuki and the Emery ult. But unfortunately, they don't use them in time, and the first point goes to UAE.
Yeah, that was quite dominant as well. To be fair, the comp Abertay were running, if you do lose that initial point, it's much harder to get into position. And you just saw that time and time again. Ross sneaking around, getting a pick, Matt's following up. At a point where at the very end, Band Trap couldn't even use their ultimate. Abertay going to be rethinking that backline now.
They're going for more of an anti-dive here with the Brig, as the D.Va and the Tracer just getting into their backline is such a big problem. However, they do change their mind, and it's Alice going to be on the Brig and Band Trap on the Kiriko.
Okay, alright. That shows a bit of flexibility in the backline here. And of course, with that Brigida, going to be a little bit more survivable, especially against the annoyance of Ross, who's just going to be picking and pushing at that backline as they stage Mega in control of Edinburgh at the moment.
Oh, 100%. And here with this Symmetra pick as well, just more and more to counter the D.Va. Obviously, the beam can't be blocked by the DM. So it's just free damage onto D.Va, and the turrets as well. They just, with the slow, it just gives them so much time to push into a target.
And again, it's Edinburgh in control here. The points in their control, picks in their control. Max is out of the fight, so there is an opportunity if Abertay want to try and turn this around. You still have DPS there of your Symmetra alive, but the contest is consistently there from Edinburgh. Armada will eventually fall, and finally that point will swap over.
However, they might have captured the point. Edinburgh do have almost 30% capture on first fight. That's great for Edinburgh because they just have so much time to regroup, and it's not a problem because they're able to take that time that they would have been capturing, or the time that Abertay are capturing, and it's neglectful because they're going to be at roughly the same amount by the time Edinburgh get back to the objective.
And they're going to have to face these support ultimates. I mean, Ross immediately takes down Band Trap despite the fact that Kitsune Rush has been used. They're losing 2, and they have the Kitsune Rush. There wasn't even an ult in response to that. They still have their own Kitsune Rush. If Edinburgh do continue... well, there we go.
As you say that, they drop their own Kitsune Rush.
Probably shouldn't have, but who am I to judge?
Personally, I agree. I wouldn't have used it there. They were down 2. Their tank was out of the fight. It was just the Brig and the 2 DPS. They could have taken that without the ult. But It's committed, and now it's back on cooldown. It's not a low cooldown either for the Kitsune Rush.
Certainly not. Now they do have their orbital ray up against a rally. Now that ray has been nerfed so many times in a row, you know, your rally can keep you alive against that ray, but again, it's a problem of just getting out there already. That Suzu force from the Kiriko. Very low ground attack here from the Embry, trying to go for some aerial shots, not quite landing anything of purchase here, and now that orbital ray is down. Rally is in response, but that health has going to go down. Maz gets launched off the map along the path. Bye-bye off the cliff of Greece. And
the D.Va's just so dominant in their backline. Gets one off the map, he's able to push further into their backline, and then what do they have in response? Almost nothing, because they've already popped all their ults. They've used a Symmetra wall to cut the point in half to give them more space, but it doesn't really do much when you don't have your tank. No one there to soak the bullets, no one there to take the damage for you.
Exactly, and you've seen that right now. You know, they're trying to keep the point alive, keep it in that over time. The D.Va bomb there actually is used a bit offensively just to try and force them off the point. Ross and NSAP are going to clean up, and NSAP is showing not only are they a solid support there for their team, but they are getting a lot of offense out with those kunais. And right now, yeah, it's just an extremely strong showing here.
Oh, 100%. The dominance from the D.Va was something else. The amount of space that D.Va was able to take just by showing presence, even in their own, like in the enemy backline, it was certainly something to watch.
And Edinburgh did pull a trick on us there. They actually swapped the banners at the top for most of that match there, and made us think that it was actually Edinburgh who were dominant. It's actually Abertay.
It was Abertay that was dominating.
Yes, so there you go. So
Slight technical difficulty.
Yeah, slight technical difficulty and a bit of a knowledge gap on my part as well. But hey, right now, Abertay, they are looking so much stronger than Edinburgh, to the point where I'm thinking, how much did that Lucio ban really affect them? How much did the Winston ban affect them? Like, there's clearly something to happen here, because if this is the top form, I just feel like Abertay are going to sweep this one 3-0 and just find themselves in the grand finals.
Oh, 100%. The Lucio ban, I don't know if it actually would have done all that much for them. The sound barrier, yeah, it's very good. It's a very good both offensive and defense ult, but just the sheer presence of Abertay seemed to have Edinburgh quaking in their boots.
I'm looking at the history now of the team. So Abertay, looking at their kind of history, so they actually did go down into the loser bracket earlier than Edinburgh did. In fact, wait, Edinburgh sent Abertay to the loser bracket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm reading that right. Yeah, so the fact that that's the case and that was such a dominant map, have Edinburgh been red, or Abertay just going to get pure vengeance against them here?
Have they learned from their prior mistakes? Was their ban targeted? Was the fact that they banned that Winston or Lucio, was it a ban that would help them but hinder the enemies? It's difficult to say, because I personally didn't see the matches.
It was a 3-0 loss, I'm just finding out here in terms of the stats. Edinburgh 3-0'd Abertay, and that's already the script is flipped. Abertay have already said, okay, we're not getting 3-0'd at least. At the very worst, to get 3-1'd now, but it's a flipping of the script, and maybe Edinburgh are doing a little bit of what I warned against, overlooking Abertay and maybe looking ahead to the grand finals. And Abertay have come up as a wee plucky underdog and are fighting harder than they have before.
they've studied the wrong opponent's playstyle. They've looked ahead. They've studied what the Chargers do. They're taking that into account, but they're not thinking of now. They're not thinking in the moment. They're thinking too far into the future, and that could be their downfall.
Well, they have the map pick and they have the band choice as well, going up first. So they are going to steer us in the direction that we go. And considering that previously Edinburgh had banned Lucio's, Aberdeen had banned Winston, if obviously Aberdeen have played Edinburgh, so Edinburgh must have a Winston up their sleeve. Therefore, you're thinking, where do we go in terms of a dive map? What are we thinking? And now I do know Escort, we are going to Watchpoint Gibraltar. It looks like the text there can't quite fit in. That's just the aura the Watchpoint Gibraltar has.
Oh, yeah.
And that's very much your thinking dive. Edinburgh have banned Diva.
Yep.
They want a very specific dive to be played. They don't want Diva. And Aberdeen surprisingly banned Reaper, actually.
The Reaper ban, honestly, for Gibraltar, I think that makes sense. Especially if the Winston is back in play, and maybe they think they want to play Winston. Reaper can dive in and do a hell of a lot of damage, because the way that his damage works is it's per pellet. And with Winston having a lot of armor, he's going to shred him quite fast. And the Death Blossom ultimate can wipe squishies off the board. And he has so much maneuverability with his teleport and his Wraith.
Yeah, Reaper's definitely not something that is unpickable. There's lots of areas where if you are good on Reaper, you know when to time your movements on Reaper, you can get a lot done. I'm actually finding out that Mats is moving to DPS, Ross is moving to tank. That's a pretty significant change. I mean, Ross was doing so well on the Tracer, and we're now going to Gibraltar. Mats was doing so strong, but to be fair, specifically on Diva. So perhaps maybe it's the Diva ban, maybe it's the map, but clearly they're switching things up there, and that seems quite risky to me. There's just not a lot of DPS / tanks that can flex that way.
Oh, I fully agree. The only tanks that I can think of personally as a tank player that skill set transfers through are like your Maugas. Your hit scan can play Mauga because he's a hit scan tank. Your Orisa with the projectiles. Really no other tank has to aim like a DPS. Mm-hmm. So that's the only place I could see that skill transference.
Yeah, and to be fair, my dog could play Mauga. So
yeah, exactly.
Bring in the pets. I'm curious. I'm really interested to see this, because when you change tank, the tank is the leader role in comms, right? The tank can't see what's happening most of the time, requires a lot of information, and usually is the one timing movements, ready checking. Obviously, not all teams are the same in terms of their comm structure. The fact that your tank is now going to DPS, that's such a big change in terms of where you would be in the comms. Obviously, Ross as a tracer would have to have been communicating their positioning. So there's already that kind of crossover. I'm really curious. I don't know the team enough to know if this is a ready-made bullet that they like to go to and put it in the chamber, or if this is a back pocket pick just to throw Edinburgh off.
Or if even possibly Mats plays tank on certain maps and Ross swaps in for maps like Gibraltar, an escort map, a hybrid map. Maybe that's the correlation. We'll just need to see.
Yes,
we can't comment on it without seeing the gameplay.
We're basically consulting our crystal ball at the moment when it comes to trying to figure out why. We will only know that in retrospect, or if someone who knows the team more is in the chat, probably spamming, and we can't see it because we're not reading the chat. We will eventually get here. Now, Gibraltar, actually, to bring up, it is a map that just got reworked this season, and the rework is enough to where it opens up ways of playing Gibraltar that weren't quite there before. flank routes for certain compositions that are a little bit more maybe not necessarily brawly, but maybe more rushy, maybe more grounded to kind of get onto those high grounds. First point, not really
Not really much has
changed that
changed.
much.
No.
It's that second point and a bit of the third point there where things kind of change up, and it'd be interesting to see if either of these teams use that at all, or if they just kind of lean on what they've known for years in Overwatch and just continue to play what's strong in Gibraltar historically.
Yeah, one of the big things to note about the change is inside the hangar, it allows a lot of characters that couldn't usually get high ground by themselves to utilize the high ground a lot better.
Well, the flames of Gibraltar burning bright. May they be a beacon for the vengeance of Edinburgh, who now need to start to fight back here where they didn't last time these teams met, but have Abertay caught on to what Edinburgh are putting down. Ross on tank now, looking on the Winston, and Matt's going to be TPing them out. I'm so curious to see if this pays off.
They are still sticking with the Sojourn, which makes a lot of sense on Gibraltar, as there's a lot of spots that Sojourn can get to, high ground wise with her jump. She loves long sight lines, being hit scan with that railgun. And they're taking the Sojourn straight away onto the high ground, and they're giving her those lines of sight that she really wants to play around.
Yeah, and this is kind of a lot of focus on Armada here, because usually you'd pick something that's maybe a little bit more long range consistent, like Ashe. Speaking of Ashe, Ashe themselves takes out fire. I mean, Vendetta, that's such a meta pick right now as well. You usually see it paired with a Zarya to get the bubble, and well, without the bubble, Matt is showing that they can play the Tracer, takes Ashe out of the fight as Ross fights for the high ground. A little bit miscommunication as Mats can't quite get out, does fall down. Ross, though, still has this high ground as they continue to push the point.
Both tanks are just sitting on the high ground here, trying to apply pressure, trying to just be that presence. As we see, Ross jumps up onto the Kiriko, they drop the Suzu, and they just get collapsed on by both the Vendetta and the Kiriko.
Who would win, one big gorilla or woman with swords? Turns out swords are quite sharp.
Yeah, very sharp.
Yeah, Matt's gonna drop there now, and it's gonna kind of put the defense in the point where they need to just regroup here. They can't continue to push here and get such staggered out. Reddish is just looking very comfortable here on this defensive style of Winston.
He's looking to chip down at HP, build his ult charge, get it ready for when they do want to make a big push, or he needs to use that primal defensively to just live on point. And as you see here, he's building his ult charge relatively fast. However, Ross does immediately fall as I'm talking about him.
Yeah, Ross gets deleted. And all the damage, Ross just actually just pops like a bubble. And that's going to be then sent back. Already below 2 minutes on the scoreboard here for the timer. Very aggressive. Ross just not giving up. They're going to primal here. Okay, they're not even going to wait for the reset of the team. The Kiriko does go low. Tries to follow up. There's that Suzu. There's blood in the water.
He gets one, and it's a very important one to get with that. He takes out the Kiriko, one of the better of the supports. Wu Yang, not so great at team healing. Good, very good single target healing. The ultimate gets used by the Wu Yang to keep their Winston alive. That extra 300 over health really does make a difference in a fight.
And a little breather here for Abertay. They do get it through to second point. Now, this is a very critical fight. If you can stagger anyone on the defense, then you're in a much better position, but Ross miscalculates, ends up falling behind, and that gives Edinburgh enough time to regroup here. There will be no staggers for them as they set up here on the spaceship and just have to face off against Matt and Ross, continuing to pressure them out.
For a dive comp, they're looking pretty brawly within this ship. There's a lot of them just sat up there trying to take that space for themselves so that their head scan player can sit on the high ground. The Ashe does drop to allow the team the space, but because she allows the space, it forces the Vendetta to make a move, to try and make a play. She falls, the Sojourn pops the overclock and gets to 3 even. That's fight over, and they're able to push it for free.
Well, when you're called Armada, sometimes you have to pull up like a fleet, and that just happened. I mean, forcing the Vendetta to very quickly come back, going to pop the ultimate there just to create the space as they smoke out the Tracer. Matt's scampering away like a scolded dog, and Abertay are in a very good place. That payload is just about to be confirmed into third point there, and you've got the beat, but Ensam going down, that's a big loss.
Ooh, that is a big loss for Abertay. That gives Edinburgh so much maneuverability, so much space to take for themselves. Push Abertay almost back to spawn.
Back into their hovel, their hobbit hole. Ross, ever the aggressive Winston is not giving up. Alice sent back to Wonderland there, and now Ross is just clearing the high ground, looking for the environmental here,
on the cast
very
team.
much committing. Meanwhile, the rest of their team are going to struggle against the other primaling Winston, who is going very aggressive against the attacking team. I think maybe a little bit too aggressive there from Ross there.
Yeah, going out of the building and into essentially touching the spawn doors, he might have over-aggressed a little too much. He left his team open to a dive from not only the enemy Winston, but also Vendetta. And the Primal with the Vendetta, that's a deadly combo.
That is very deadly. There's a reason why Vendetta took over Talon. And there's the Kitsune rushes, almost at the exact same time, so it's matched on both sides. Parallel, there's losses on both sides of this right now. You see the Vendetta of Ash just trying to get that damage. Ross finds Band Trap, but Ross will fall. Yeah, Edinburgh have this one on lock, and if only 30 seconds, and well, they've used and spent their big ultimates. Abertay don't have much of a chance here, really.
The only thing they realistically could have in this next fight is Pulse from the Tracer. And that, it doesn't really do much. It can get one kill. Granted, it could be dropped on like a Wu Yang, and it kill the Wu Yang, but they do also have the Suzu to just completely negate the ultimate.
Bubble not quite placed efficiently. Armada will be sunk early in this one. The Bastion pull did not quite work to the spectacle that they thought it may. And that's going to be an ultimate from Ash, continuing to deal such a high amount of damage. However, Madsen is trying to pulse bomb, but there goes Fire, there goes Madsen. Realistically, this fight's over.
Yeah, this round is over from here. They've pushed them all the way back. They got so close as well. They got within 4 meters of getting 2.2, sorry. And it's sad to see it happen because they were so close. They were fighting so well. But then just that one simple slip up from what I would say was Ross, getting a little bit too aggressive. It can happen. It definitely can happen.
It can happen, and it's kind of like in Madagascar where Alex sees the stakes instead of people. You just get hungry for it, and you keep going, and you don't quite recognize in the moment that you are kind of abandoning. I mean, you push the cast through that door, cast is out of the fight for a couple of seconds, go back into the fight, and do some disruption to who's still there. And this could be the fact that Ross is flexing. I don't know how much Ross plays on tank here versus Mats. I don't know the history, but this could be a fact of like not quite having that tank mentality of essentially needing to play a boring game rather than having fun yourself.
Yeah,
and, you know,
I definitely agree with that.
Being that sentinel.
Having a tank that plays more selfish, yes, it can be good. It gets you the kills, it gets you the point. But if the enemy team just turn around and look at the tank, they can simply just fall. And that is what we've seen.
Edinburgh going to be coming out on pretty much the same composition that we saw Abertay with. Still with Bantrap here on the Wu Yang. Again, very good for the poke. Reddish just went so low here. At least one of the supports to look at is going to get healed up.
As Ross and Ensam pushing into the high ground, trying to push Edinburgh off of it to allow themselves to take more space to keep their hold. Doesn't quite work though, as Ross jumps out himself and pulls Reddish with him. It's a contentious fight, and nothing was gained, I would say, for either team. The point's still being contested. The Winstons are still both trying to protect their own backline, but not much is going on.
Yeah, and at the moment I was about to say yes, but Ash is actually going to fall finally to the stickies. Abertay have a moment here to kind of regroup, take control away from the point, because you don't want to be letting them push when you have the man advantage there, and they're going to push back the defenders. But they're in a good place, Edinburgh, in terms of where the payload is, so they can just look to take control of this high ground and try and get Ross taken out here.
And he does fall. The transform does come through from the Echo. He takes the form of the Kiriko, and unfortunately there's just too many people looking at him, and he does fall.
Yeah, this is going to be Edinburgh just kind of riding around. You do have the option to touch, but without a Tracer it's going to be tough. In fact, Matt's actually going to go that way. Tidal Wave used on Red is just going to follow Ensam and take them out. Fire uses their own, not to the best effect. Armada does find Ash. They're trying to just, you know, roll it out, bar fight for the point, and Armada is doing a decent amount of damage. In fact, they found 3 picks this whole fight. No one looked at Armada until that very point, forced the Kitsune rush out of Alice to secure that point. But hey, I'll take an overclock for a Kitsune rush.
Not only did they use the Kitsune rush, they used the overclock after there was 3 dead. The point was already theirs, and there was one high ground, one holding the high ground, but I don't see the use in that that overclock. Yes, it could space them away, stop a Tracer from trying to touch, but a Tracer's a hard target to hit with the railgun shot, with how fast she is just in general.
Reddish just kind of vibing in the Primal Rage, you know, pushing some people about, getting out, not really doing anything of the ultimate, apart from giving some space for this payload to be pushed. Now it's Ross who's getting angry with the Winston and just forcing into that back line. It's going to
very
take
aggressive Primal.
out.
He does get the Sojourn pick, which gives them time to push Edinburgh back to their spawn and off of the payload. And that is exactly what happens. They now need to regroup. They need to play safe. They're just trying to get these ultimates up. The neutral fight can be quite hard for this point specifically. With no ultimates on the board, not really any way to force the enemies off of high ground without physically going there yourself. It's difficult.
It is difficult. Edinburgh do have the advantage where, I mean, just around the corner that they need to go, and a pick like that will open things up. Ensam is going to immediately respond with the Kitsune rush just to give a little bit more power to Abertay to stay alive, but Ross is falling so low, needs to get back to our team to get the healing. Edinburgh continuing to pressure. Meanwhile, Abertay's backline goes so low, Ensam falls. There's the tidal wave right onto the Winston. Looking for a follow-up, doesn't get anyone.
Gets no value.
Enough. Armada finding Ash, following. Armada falling to Bantrap. It's back and forth. Reddish takes out Ross. Abertay don't have their tank. Edinburgh on the verge of it, and they've got the overclock. Oh my god, Mats! 1 HP was the Sojourn who gets up and pile drives them right onto their head, and they will secure it. Oh no!
However, they do get an early touch. Abertay do swap to the Doomfist to touch point faster. He does immediately fall though, as both DPS from Edinburgh are just looking at him. And Abertay are back now. That Doomfist done its job. The Doomfist touched, he stalled.
the swap to the Doomfist has saved it and may fully save it, because now you're on the Lucio getting back in time, and yeah, you have to back up. That might be a hit to the ego of Edinburgh, but also it has reset the ult economy.
And Edinburgh have 1 minute left to push this. 5 meters, per se, by the time that they get back to the point. It's more than enough time, it's just, do they have the utility to do it in that? Do they have the utility to actually get it done?
Drab going so low, needs to get the healing there from Alice. You see Reddish going aggressive, they go the Primal Blade, is going to use it to create some space. Ross himself going very low. Reddish not getting too much done, but is now forcing out the Tracer. Mats finds 2, but Armada goes down. You have lost your own Tracer though, that's a lot of that pressure gone. And with Bantrap out, it's just Alice for the healing. Reddish is going to have to back up. 30 seconds. Hold on a moment here.
That Doomfist touch really has just saved the amount of time. It's almost saved them the round. The Edinburgh here have 20 seconds left to touch the objective and push it 5 meters. It's not a lot of time to get that done. We now fall down to less than 10 seconds, and it doesn't look like they're making an advance onto the point just yet.
Single-digit numbers, Kitsune rush at the perfect time, Ensam lays it out. So much advantage here for Abertay. Bantrap on 2 points of health. Lodge is going to get the overclock, goes immediately down to the poop. Armada finding Bantrap. Also, this is very bad for Edinburgh. They came so close. Icarus to the sun, but the sun is bright in Abertay today, and that's the weather forecast. It's a 2-0 right now. What a turnaround on point 2. Abertay have shown that not only do they have the guts to take it to Edinburgh after getting 3-0'd, they can turn it around in a really dire situation.
Oh yeah, they can use the stress to their advantage, it seems. They do better in the sticky situations. They were almost falling over to the point where Edinburgh were able to push it very far, very fast. But in those last crucial moments, they pulled it out the bag. They did what they had to do, and they were able to secure the map for themselves.
I mean, I called it at one point. I said they secured it. I said those words. Those words came out my mouth. And like, I'd like to think it's not because I'm stupid. It did look like they had it, but it's inches. It's a game of inches. And they just touched with that Doomfist. I mean, Ross really, really earned the fact of swapping onto the tank. And in that final fight, it was Mats finding the eliminations as well on the DPS. So they shown that that's not just a quirky little flex around, changing roles for the fun of it. It works. And the proof is in the pudding.
Exactly. The swap that we originally thought would be contentious of the Tracer player swapping to tank, but the tank player swapped to Tracer. And it worked just as well for Ross and Mats. And what can we say? They done their jobs properly.
Yeah, they did their jobs. But for the other team now, Edinburgh, this is it. It's match point. You know, and you had that. And I know I've been there myself. I'm sure many of us have, where it's in the palm of your hands. And like sand, it falls. And the hardest part of that is picking yourself back up and going into the next map with a mental reset. Because that mentally is so tough to bounce back from. They're going to have to really just like, right, put that to the side. Forget Gibraltar. Let's not weigh ourselves down thinking about it too hard. We just want to look forward. Edinburgh needs to get control of their mental here, because that could just be something that kind of loses them the next map if they're not careful.
Oh, I fully agree. And both maps so far have been Edinburgh's pick. And really, that says a lot, that Abertay have looked at this matchup and said, we know what maps they want to pick. We know what heroes they're going to pick. We know how to counterplay that. We know how we want to counterplay that. Yes, Gibraltar might have been a little bit of a sticky situation at the end, but they pulled it out. They pulled it out. They got it where they needed it to be. And we're seeing now that the next map isn't going to be any better, I don't think, as it's another payload map. It's King's Row.
Well, now this could be where we see a little bit of actual change up in compositions. King's Row over the years has changed its form. You can do a lot in terms of composition. It's really opened up from the old days of when it was 6v6, Reign Zarya or Reign Diva. You are more likely going to see pokey or brawly comps than you would dive comps, but you can absolutely still dominate with a Diva or a Winston by controlling the high grounds of first point. Second point gets a little bit tricky. You just have to watch that you're using the flanks correctly. And I'm just thinking, like, there's something so Scottish about a team who got 3-0'd by a team and in the next match is threatening to 3-0 them back. There's something that just doesn't quite make sense in terms of normal sense, but there's something intrinsically Scottish about what's happening, and I can't quite place it, but it's magic. It's Scottish magic.
Rebellion, you could say. But also with King's Row, that first choke point where the statue is, that's very difficult to push through unless you're playing a dive comp. I personally think, because you might be holding that with your Reinhardt shield in your hand walking forward, but you're coming through a choke point. Everyone's looking at you. Everyone's eyes are on you and your shield. And as soon as that shield goes down, you're not as squishy as other tanks. Your Sigma and your Ramatra both have shields on cooldown. They both have other utility to take less damage and stop themselves taking damage. And it's one of those choke points, very rare in the game of Overwatch now, where the game can be decided at that choke point.
It really can. I mean, you can get lost in how much time you're losing very easily. Either at the choke point and statue or the first choke point and second if you don't immediately win it on attack. There's lots of ways to just very easily forget yourself on King's Row. It's a very feast or famine map where, you know, we will either see teams complete the map of extra time and go into extra rounds, or not even see the back of third point. Now, we do have the bans coming through, which I'll wait until it's on screen just in case we want to like reveal it as we're talking. But Edinburgh have done something that I'm not entirely sure how much I agree with personally, but then again, I don't know these teams, so I'm just going to say it because it's not popular on screen. Edinburgh have banned Zarya after previously banning Diva, and Mats and Ross have swapped back now, which tells me that Mats is probably going to play Diva because that's the last time we saw Mats play. And now on King's Row you don't have Zarya, which is a very good answer to Diva. So I'm not sure where the Zarya ban really fits into things.
Unless in previous series, as we mentioned, they have played against each other before. Unless in that series they went to King's Row and Mats pulled out the Zarya and they're scared of it almost. Or if it's more just, I don't want to play against this specifically on King's Row first point, whether it's attack or defense, because a Zarya getting high charge and able to just walk at you can be very scary. It can be like, it's a massive threat.
Mm-hmm.
A Zarya with high charge and her beam, it does a hell of a lot of damage.
Yeah, and Abertave actually followed up and banned Vendetta, and now the bans are looking a lot like my comp games actually, because you can very easily pair Zarya with Vendetta, and I think they got a little bit caught off with the Vendetta pick, and they didn't seem the most comfortable dealing with the Vendetta as it came out. It was only once they had a lot of space between themselves and the Vendetta on that second point of Gibraltar defense. But yeah, now on King's Row, there's not many places to hide with someone with a sword. I mean, I could make a London joke, but I'll refrain. And the fact that Mats and Ross are swapping back, you know, you're thinking Ross was so strong on the Tracer, and Mats was so strong on the Diva. Now are we going to see a different look to that DPS and tank line.
Especially Zarya Vendetta. When you combine those two characters, it gives the Vendetta so much escape and so much more utility, because you can bubble her as she jumps in, and then you gain charge on the Zarya and you're able to push your way into their backline to help the Vendetta, and then the Vendetta wants to escape. Bubble her, she runs away, you're building up more charge and you're more of a threat in the front line. I wouldn't have seen these bans coming. I would have seen them played together, but not banned at the same time.
And I'm a man of wishes and whims and whimsy. You know, I would like to see things like Reinhardt's against each other. Like I'm old school boomer Overwatch, but I am interested in if we see anything different in terms of, you know, we've seen Emery played, we've seen Vendetta played. If you want to go more of a poke comp, is there potential playing Domina? I'll be honest, I didn't read the mid-season patch. I don't know how much Domina got nerfed or not, but Domina has lots of high stats. And now that they're in the game, I can finish yapping and actually look at what we might be looking at. Edinburgh are on the defense here at the start, and it looks like we're going to be starting on Orisa defense there. We've got the May as well. What do you think of this lineup here from Edinburgh?
From the Edinburgh side, it's a very solid defense. With the Orisa basically just being a bullet sponge. That's her whole job as a tank. She doesn't move when she goes into golden form, and she can block both projectiles and ultimates, which is the main point with her javelin spin. Her being able to just be a fortress almost, unmoving, it gives them a lot of ways that they can both push forward but also not get pushed back.
Talking about back, Mats is already very far back in the defense lineup high ground, and it's allowed the TP as well from Ensam to follow. Alice and Bantrap are going to have to be careful about this rotating route of Abertay. Yeah, nice wall actually still to poke through to them, as Ash now needs to back up and consider their own safety as they continue to try and just stop Mats from pushing through. Ross is actually going to go elsewhere in the fight. Needs to be careful. In fact, what a wall!
Keep the soldiers and they do fall eventually. Now, I like the positioning from the Orisa here. Your backline's getting dove on the high ground, so you're taking that low ground space within the hotel, and you're controlling the flow of enemies towards that high ground by sitting in that one position, watching multiple angles from there, poking them down. You've got your javelin as well to secure a kill on a squishy. It just works really well for this team here, with them all playing high ground on the bridge almost, and then the Orisa on low ground.
And they're just sort of force it. Alice is going to fall first. That's your primary healing going on pressure also. And with Reddish, that's pretty much the end of things there. Bantrap thinks that they could have touched there to use the tidal wave on themselves, but it's going to have to back up, and that's just another ult thrown into the void as we roll into second point.
However, they do get that early pick. They take out the Kiriko, which it allows them to take out then the Orisa for the side of Abertay, and they snowball their win from there. So they're now they were on death cooldown, and you're waiting for your team to come back, but during that time, they were then able to also pick off the Mei, which then puts her on death timer, and they've managed to push it a decent distance in that time.
That's Blizzard eaten there by Mats, and now they're just going to get walked on. Reddish had used the Terror Surge as well, and Abertay are going to walk them down. Now, they did use both their support ults to do it, so they are out of support ults, especially important when you figure in the fact that Alice has her Kitsune Rush, could be even combined there with the overclock, Armada's going to be looking to set up here, or not actually on point, but you'd want to be setting up with the visor to get a good kind of overview if you want to go into the high ground there and try and get a better look to get the best out of this visor here as they get around the corner and threaten third point.
And with the Lucio dropping the beat, they don't have an answer to this overclock and Kitsune Rush combo. And we see that in effect almost immediately as the soldier uses his tactical visor. They drop the Kitsune Rush in contest of it, and the entire team of Edinburgh just pushes forward. And Abertay respects that, and they're backing up, letting Edinburgh get the space. Oh, that is unfortunate. That is unfortunate.
Oh, we'll call it a reset in the business. Okay,
Yep.
I have to give so much props to Abertay, because you're right, they backed up. They fully backed up. And the moment Kitsune Rush was over, they pushed back in. And that's a high-level ability for a team. That's a lot of coordination and a lot of game sense from whoever made the call to back up. And that's given them 4 minutes rolling to third. We're at a point where I would say Edinburgh are panicking because they've brought Roadhog into the business.
Roadhog's not that common anymore. He used to be very good. The end life cycle of Overwatch 1 into Overwatch 2, and then he was strong again for a little bit. But since the rework, he's not really been the same. It's not a very common pick at all.
Yeah, I think it's a panic here, and you can see that they're just spiraling. They are getting snowballed at this point, and Edinburgh don't really have an answer. They've even brought out the Reaper here to try and burn anything down, and nothing works. That is
Edinburgh are just being pushed out of position. That's all that happened in that last fight. They're getting pushed out of position and into the Sojourn's line of sight. Are the Sojourn's able to just pick them off from the high ground?
There's no polite way to say that someone's getting dog walked, and that's what happened on third point. I would say Edinburgh did a decent job on first point, second point. Fourth point just completely fell apart, and those swaps allowed just an absolute snowball to which there was no answer for. Now, Kings Row is definitely a map where you can still finish in this position with overtime and continue to threaten from the backseat. So I don't think Edinburgh should panic. They just need to focus on what they do best. But from my point of view, they're kind of I think they're flailing a wee bit, and if they go for the Mauga here, which I don't think they will, they're
seems
still
like
in
they're
spawn.
grasping at straws almost.
Yeah, exactly.
They've swapped off of the Orisa, and they've gone into a Mauga comp. They've gone Mauga Lucio, which works. Don't get me wrong, it does work. But Mauga Lucio into Diva, it's not a great matchup for the Mauga. They do also have a Sombra, so I'm assuming their game plan will be to hack the Diva to allow them damage onto her. But that's very difficult to do because when you're hacking, you're able to be seen. You're still stealth, but it's not perfect.
Very aggro. Suzu times to stop the damage, but doesn't time to stop the stun. Ensam is going to go down. They were ready for the speed of which Edinburgh have just absolutely blown out of spawn with. This is fury and vengeance in their eyes as they look to just regain this map through brute force. Alice does fall there as Ross continuing to be that annoyance who gets those picks on the side. Reddish chasing them down with two massive chain guns. And hold on a minute, maybe the straws that they grasp are made of metal. However, Armada is still a sturdy opponent here on the Sojourn.
Yeah, Armada is still a demon with that railgun. He gets it charged up to 100, and the enemy team just crumble under it. He's so precise with those railgun shots.
Hold on. I'm not counting.
Exactly.
That was almost a 5k, I think. That was almost a near ace from Armada. Strapped Abertay to their back and stood up like Hercules. That was outstanding. and didn't even use overclock. That was just all neutral.
And he's now essentially built that overclock. And he has been taking the 150 charge perk.
That's
which...
someone else gonna kill!
You ask and you shall receive.
Yeah, Sam finally picks up the absolute slaughter. I will use that word, slaughter, that Armada was doing. Still hasn't even used overclock for it. And that's quite wild. And I swapped to the Queen here actually in the defense. You get that shout and extra health against the Mauga, and you can still kinda scout for that Sombra at the same time.
Not only that, but the anti-heal debuff that the Junker Queen can apply just by hitting her abilities really affects the Mauga. His whole character is built upon being able to live, and if he can't heal himself and his supports can't heal him, he can't be that bullet sponge anymore.
Wow. Abertay. I think the main thing that happened there is Alice killing Armada. Armada going out early there is very good. Alice utilizing the movement of Lucio to get Armada out means there's no overclock, which means that Cage Blizzard combo, which by the way, disgusting. Just gonna say
Very disgusting.
That's disgusting. Can just wipe the floor, and now Edinburgh can continue to push forward, and they're coming up to EMP.
It might be a disgusting combo, but it works. And if you need to pull out those tricks just to win 1 point, I think they might be grasping at straws. But then Matt's on the Junker Queen and Armada on the Sojourn. They both use their ultimates, and the entire team of Edinburgh just fall.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, right, such a strong anti-heal effect against this particular comp. Okay, Armada, can you let them out to spawn? You know, let's be a little bit fair. If Armada keeps this level of warmth and Abertay do indeed win this King's Row, if I'm Caledonian, I'm shaking in my boots. Oh, Mats does get walled off there. The hack just about comes out, and the healing just saved Mats, but it's EMP that comes out.
EMP hits almost everyone. It's everyone but the Ross on the Tracer. The EMP does run out, and it lets Fire use the sound barrier on the Lucio.
Yeah.
But it's just not enough.
I think that was an utter misplay there from Fire. I don't know why they thought that was still winnable. They were at least 3 people down already by the time B came out, and only hit themselves and Ross, because those were the only 2 people alive at that point. And now they don't have that B. They are coming up to Kitsune Rush. It is a bit of a race here in terms of ultimates, because you want to get the Blizzard up and running. I think Edinburgh's best play is to be as aggressive as possible before this Kitsune Rush gets online.
Yes, they need to be aggressive. They need to take that space to allow the Mauga Blizzard combo, like the Cage and Blizzard combo, to work. But if Abertay are just contesting the objective like they are right now, it doesn't have as much of an effect, because the Kiriko can teleport out. The Suzu stops the May freeze. There's so many tools.
We might actually see them turn this around. If Ash can secure this kill onto the Tracer, there's still 2 of them alive, and they're pushing the point. There is at some point going to be a potential touch. A wall has been used to kind of block the exit rather than block the attack.
The Tracer does get the touch.
Yeah, the touch is there. Reddish is back and mows them down. An incredible turnaround to what would have been a lost fight if not for that. Edinburgh's players are showing that they're not boomed, they're not lying down. They are still here to fight despite the struggle ahead of them if they do want to win King's Row.
It's an uphill battle, but they are climbing fast. They may not have as much time as Abertay do here. They've not even pushed it all the way yet, and they're still a minute behind. But they still have the tools to finish with over a minute left if they use them correctly. Because they have the Mauga Cage fight, they have the Tracer Pulse Bomb, and they do just use both immediately. The Tracer Bomb, it does whiff, and then the Mauga Cage hit 3. Edinburgh are just wiping the floor with Abertay this way round.
I'm gonna walk back a previous statement of pulling the straws. I think they were pulling at knives, and we just didn't recognize exactly the tool they were pulling out. That's a beat that hits everyone from Fire. Edinburgh, they are going to answer with Alice. Kitsune Rush is up from Band Trap, but they are going to fall because Overclock is just dealing so much extra damage against the attacking team of Edinburgh, and you don't have that now to defend against it. To Abertay, they get a hold of the bleed for now, and now there's a chance that they can win by not letting them cap Bedford.
Once again, it's Armada who, in the middle of these fights, is just allowing themselves to enter a flow state almost. They don't even need their ultimate, although they do pop it in that last fight. They get 2 with the ultimate, but even after that's gone, they still get another 2 with the railgun.
40 seconds ticking away. Got the blizzards, got the pulse, and they're coming in aggressive with a slam. That's already the Mauga shout used, so Reddish needs to be careful now. They don't have that extra level of defense for themselves. Ash falls! There's not going to be a blizzard in this fight, and that's going to pretty much cement it. Especially because Kitsune Rush comes up from NSAP. Reddish has went down. 15 seconds, 14 seconds. It's all falling away from Edinburgh as Abertay have not only freed a team, they freed a team that freed them. Now Reddish,
Although Reddish,
in, trying to be an
he does get a last second
hero.
touch.
Yep, overtime.
But
is
it's not
ticking.
enough.
Blizzard, chucked in, eaten by Max, and that is a feast. Abertay are cleaning up, and they have, what I would say, really thrown the predictions if there was any, because they have freed themselves towards the finals.
Winning that 3-0 when they had lost previously to Edinburgh 3-0 must be a major confidence booster for the entire team.
I have to say, Edinburgh didn't play poorly there. On the attack, they were definitely very aggressive. They played it to a good tempo for the composition they had. It's just Abertay are looking so strong right now. The individual players and also the overall team coordination coming out of fights that aren't winnable, coming back in once the danger's gone. They're showing that they're not just separated different wolves. They are a pack of wolves, and they're coordinating like one. And if I'm Caledonia, I'm thinking, okay, we need to lock in a little bit here, because if the players on Abertay continue at that level, particularly may I say Armada, my god, then they are in for one. And on the opposite flip of that, could we just be blowing up the steam of Abertay for them to walk into the final boss arena and get stomped? Or will this be a magic story of a loser bracket run into a grand finals win? That's the toss up here.
They certainly have got a lot ahead of them. But as you said, if Armada stays as warm as they are right now and they don't cool down, I believe they have a shot. They can take the Chargers head on. And whether they fumble at the last second or they struggle in the uphill battle, Abertay have looked very good at that so far. They do not look like they're going to fumble under pressure. They do better under pressure. They do better in that single second time ticking down. This last ultimate, this last fight, everything's on the line. And so far, especially on Gibraltar, they pulled that out.
Absolutely, and I'm wondering what Caledonia are thinking at this moment with the Chargers, or if they were watching, or if they were just warming up. But we will, of course, get to that, because we're going to give these players a breather. We're not going to force them, throw them in right away. We are going to be going to a break for now. So go grab a snack and get ready for what could be a very explosive grand finals here.
Put some stress on the king. I don't flex, I just take a step and Elohim do the rest. Please don't think it's sweet, he got his sword, it's for your chest. It's for your soul, you worry about the goal, you can only take it home. Where I'm from it's not here, so I leave it all alone. Get the lyrics out the spirit, then I put them in a poem. Talk to God, I'm on the phone, he said I need to trust. He be the anchor when the waves is too much. I gotta thank him cause his way is so tough, but his faith is so amazing, so my praise it go nuts, and my praise it go nuts. I can't miss, no Beverly, you can't hold me. Knew that it was my time and I ain't need a roll. P139, that's the word. This provision is precision, you ain't gotta see the worth. Every situation different. Trust if you're feeling out of luck or if you stuck, homie, you just can't miss this. It's so easy, you be thinking it's absurd. Gotta see the glory in the hurt, see the glory in the hurt.
One shot. Let's go, let's go. Woo. You know that I won't lie like this. I don't wanna hide everything, like say that we're just friends, but no friends don't kiss. I feel my body giving in. You want my heart, baby, you say it don't faze me, but oh no, that's not how I think. You make my mind hazy, I know it sounds crazy, but maybe we could be a thing. I'll give it one shot, make it hard, show me what you bring. No, no, don't stop, take a look, tell me what you think. One shot to a lifetime, give you my all, yeah, yeah. One shot, make it hard, one shot, woo. I'm thinking it's for life with you. My God is telling me don't go, so won't you stay a while, stay a while? Who knew that we could end up super close? You want my heart, baby, you say it don't faze me, but oh no, that's not how I think. You make my mind hazy, I know it sounds crazy, but maybe we could be a thing. race, let's go one hot. Gotta shoot your shot, better make a start. Give it all you got and jump into the deep and make it last a lifetime. Baby, you make me feel so complete. I'll give it one shot, make it hot. Show me what you bring. No, no, don't stop. Talk a lot, tell me what you think. One shot to a lifetime. Give you my all, yeah, yeah. One shot, make it hot. Don't make. I'll give it one shot, make it hot. Show me what you bring. No, no, don't stop. Talk a lot, tell me what you think. One shot to a lifetime. Give you my all, yeah, yeah. One shot, make it hot. One shot.
I just wanna have fun, clap my hands, turn around now and dance. I just wanna have fun, clap my hands, turn around now and dance. I just wanna have fun, clap my hands, turn around now and dance. I just wanna have fun, clap my hands, turn around now and dance. I just wanna clap, turn around, 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 dance. I just wanna have fun, turn around now. I just wanna have fun, turn around now. I just wanna turn around, dance. I just wanna around now. I just wanna have fun, turn around now. I just wanna now and turn around now. I just wanna turn around, dance. I just wanna clap, 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 turn around, dance.
When I look at the sun going down to the sky, all I want is to be there with a new state of mind, a place I've never heard of. I will walk like a nomad. I've been stuck inside my house too long. Can't stand being all alone, wasting hours on my phone. I'm ready to go now. On my way. I won't let fear hold me back. It's here to stay. I'm on my way. All of my dreams are now a step away. At the end of the world, there is something I can learn. Some good ideas will pop up with a new, different wind. I'm gonna let it take me to people that will trust me. I've been stuck inside my house too long. Can't stand being all alone, wasting hours on my phone. I'm ready to go now. On my way. I won't let fear hold me back. It's here to stay. On my way. All of my dreams are now a step away. So here I am, about to explore. I feel I must much, no hurry. What's coming when the feeling's so right? Kinda cute that we started our friends. Think about you whenever I'm not talking to you. Kinda scary that it's gonna make sense. Keeping my cool and all I wanna do is know all you. I think I like it. I think I like it. A little too much. I'd be lying if I said I was a crush. A little too much. I'd be lying if I said I was a crush. Keeping my cool and all I wanna do is know all you. I think I like it. I think I like it. I think you caught me when I had my heart on a show. You know me better than I know myself. Though I can't wait, still love the sound of when you say, ooh, no it's no hurry, 'cause what's stopping when the feeling's so right? Kinda cute that we started our friends. Think about you whenever I'm not talking to you. Kinda scary that this gonna make sense. Keeping my cool and all I wanna do is know all you. I think I like it. I think I like it. I think I like it. A little too much. I'd be lying if I said I was a crush. A little too much. I'd be lying if I said I was a crush. Keeping my cool and all I wanna do is know all you. I think I like it. I think I like it. I think a little too much. I'd be lying if I said I was a crush. A little too much.
Hello and welcome back, folks. Now it's not the penultimate. Sorry, that's not what the penultimate
Not the
means.
penultimate,
It's the climax. It is Act 3. It is the final boss for Abertay, as they have cleansed the competition of Edinburgh, and they have swept the lower brackets to find themselves in the grand finals. However, when you get to the throne, therein lies the king. Glasgow Caledonian University Chargers are sitting pretty, ready, in a very strong position, apart from the fact that Sky Knight's on the roster, and ready for them to, well, we'll find out what happens and which team is strongest.
They're coming off of a 3-0 victory. They've got to be feeling good. They've got to be hyping themselves up and not quite getting in their own heads, but something along those lines. They might get a bit too high of an ego, a bit too big of an ego. But here's hoping that it goes as smoothly as it did for them the first time. They've absolutely ruined Edinburgh in Ilios, 2-0, and then they went to Gibraltar. They had a bit of a rocky game. They got almost to second point, and then Edinburgh followed up with getting 4 meters away from them. Luckily, Abertay brought it back right at the very end in the last seconds, literally single digits. And then we went to King's Row, and King's Row looked very strong for Abertay to start with. They took the first point very fast. They moved it through the second choke, winning fights along the way. And it seemed almost too easy. And then it got to the second half after they got the payload all the way to the end. And Edinburgh really started to step up their game. They started to play a lot better, a lot more cohesive, a lot more as a team. But unfortunately for Edinburgh, it fell apart right at the end. Mm-hmm. Not even, I think it was 10 meters-ish away from the end, and it all just fell apart. They just couldn't hold on to that momentum they had, and ended up 3-0 to Abertay.
Yeah, and now looking at Abertay's opponent today, That's another team that has 3-0'd Edinburgh. Now, granted, GCU don't also have a 3-0 loss to Edinburgh. So I think if I was GCU, I was probably predicting Edinburgh, right? You just look at the paper of what's happening and you think, yeah, we're probably going to face Edinburgh. Abertay and GCU have not faced each other in this bracket. So they have not faced each other recently. I'm sure the teams know each other well enough to the degree of like understanding what's going to come out here and what they can ban and go for, which of course GCU being the higher seed is going to get the first map pick and therefore the first ban pick, and it'll be down to Abertay to respond once we get to that point. Caledonian have just been running strong. They don't have a single map loss on the bracket. So they've not even been scratched. Their armor has no dents in it, and they are ready for Abertay. Unless Abertay have just done an almost anime level power up at the right moment, because we can look at histories, we can look at on paper, we can look at all of that, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the day of playing. What are you in the day that you need to show up? Right now, Abertay, they are definitely showing up to the top of their own level. GCU, they will need to match that to be able to continue their dominance.
The one thing you do also have to look at is Abertay clearly done their research on Edinburgh. They know how to play against them, they know how to play into them, but have they done the same for the Chargers? Have they thought ahead and gotten both games? Have they looked at both teams? That's where the plan might fall apart, as we've got our bans and map pick. The map pick's going to be Lijiang Tower, starting off again with a control map. GCU have the first ban of Diva, and Abertay, in response, have banned Jetpack Cat.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if Glasgow we're going to do that. I am actually quite curious as to Abertay, because it looks like so far Matt
Ready for battle.
I'm going to say that maybe Glasgow have played Cat before, or maybe Abertay are just that kind of confident where we're like, oh, we don't need to ban any of your heroes. We can just play what we want.
Yeah, the Jetpack Cat ban, it does make a lot of sense, as that ultimate, specifically on Lijiang, has a lot of places that you can be dropped off the side. Not only in gardens, where there's the spaces between the point, but also control center, and also we have the one we're currently playing on has a lot of spots to be dropped off. And GCU starting out the game with a Ramatra, Genji, Emre with the Lucio Kiri support line, which I like, to be honest. They have their dive of their Genji, and then they have the Lucio Kiri to back up the Ramatra, and then their Emre to take off angles to get the long lines aside.
That was a big dash there, but no one went down. The point eventually does go to Abertay, as Johnny can't touch when form's not up, but no one has dropped as of yet. Gold used by Matsarissa, so that's an opportunity. Meanwhile, Josh is in a duel, and it's just going to butt that gun into the face of Rose's Razor. And now you see Armada is going to be the one to take out Josh. GCU have, in the meantime, swapped over the point, because when you don't have Mats, you don't have the Orisa, you can't really anchor onto that point like you'd like to do. Sky Knight is going to get chased down by Hitsam, who's very early on cementing themselves as perhaps a very strong DPS on
Hitsam
the support role.
they've gotten 3 picks, and have entirely flipped the point for their team as it gets to 20% to 21%. And that's got to feel great for Ensam. Taking down both the Ramatra and the enemy Kiriko gives his team so much space to play with.
They're just playing so far forward here, not letting them get an inch, but it's Flash who loves it to the name and gets a quick elimination to Armada. Ensam tries to get an equalizer there with the Kitsune Rush, is going to be able to do that. Mats also uses Terra Surge there at the same time, and Abertay are going to hold on, despite the fact that the first pick was against them, but they do have to invest heavily for it.
Now, the first pick was against Abertay, but they did get that Kitsune Rush down very fast. And as soon as GCU started moving in, Matt saw his opportunity and took it. He Terra Surged, pulled in 3, and got 1 kill with it, which is very well done from Matt.
Oh, Armada doesn't have the sightline to make the use out of this overclock. To be fair, Joss as well looking to try and get elimination here from the Emery ultimate, but it's Armada who builds up that railgun, takes out Flash, who actually had Blade. That was the only DPS ult other than Josh who just got used. Kitsune Rush used there from Ensam, and the beat from Fire at the same time. And that's going to be too much to deal with. Sky Knight's sole lone Kitsune Rush can't really contend with that one. Abertay have held.
Oh, that's unlucky.
If this is an indicator to how the match is going to go, I don't want to jinx it for anyone, but Abertay have come out the gate swinging.
We don't want to give anyone a caster's curse, but it's looking very strong for one team more than another. The very end of that objective there, as we're reaching 99% and it's getting contested, GCU are just funneling it in to the point one by one. They're not trying to push it as a team because they just don't have the time to do so. But because they're going in one by one, just throwing bodies at the objective, Ensam's targeting, it's so easy for them. And Kiriko's single target damage is insane, especially if they're hitting those headshots.
And already that high ground position in server room goes to Abertay, who TP'd out to give themselves that help. Johnny's going to have to use the javelin spin just to get into position on the central pillar. Mass has to be careful. Falls back, is going to rotate around the back end. Armada finds Flash actually in just a kind of poke phase as they continue to rotate round into the back line of GCU. GCU not letting it happen without the damage done as Donnie and Johnny take down Fire and Ross, and Armada finally will go down. GCU hold on and get the first confirmed switch of the point.
Now, I like that there, though, from GCU. They may have lost the first... They might have taken the first blood in that fight, but they came to the objective swinging. They knew where everyone was. They were targeting very well. They went for their supports first when Donnie jumped onto Fire, and he wins the Lucio 1v1. And then he immediately pivots to go back to help his team, and then also try and poke down the other support to just get some chip damage for the rest of his team to capitalize on.
And what happened to Matt there was a whole lot more than chip damage, and Johnny's going to get the elimination on it. Ensam just for a moment look for those aggressive kunais, and in that moment so much pressure went onto Matt that the healing wasn't there, and that's going to put them back a bit. Already 50% control for GCU.
The way the Emery's playing right now is really, really well done. The spacing, the positioning. Both Kitsune Rushes are used here.
Yeah, dual Kitsunes pretty much in tandem with each other. It's going to be a Terror Surge there. So much damage onto Matt. You might even need to pull the trigger on V, but it's Armada who's going to pull the trigger on Overclock. That's going to clean things up there with a nice triple on the point. They'll be able to clean up. And 74% on the board for GCU. They're in a very strong point still, but Abertay have that support ultimate still.
It's very much an advantageous position here for the Chargers. They have 74% on the point. They have the beat drop from the Lucio. They have the Emery ult. They're building that Genji blade so fast. And they initiate the fight with the Emery ult. But in return, Abertay are dropping the beat.
Yeah, beat comes out, Johnny will follow up. Now the blade is uncontested with a beat. Josh, Sky Knight finding those eliminations off the back of the damage, and the blade is still there. That is going to be a switch, but Fire and Ross are going to complicate things a wee bit. The fact that Johnny is still in this fight, however, is going to be the main thing for GCU. Meanwhile, Matt is going to finally get back, and they get the percentage, which is good for them. But now the ult economy not quite in the favour of GCU.
They get the objective from 74 to 88. Very good progress. Meanwhile, Abertay are only sitting at 40%. They need to hold this objective for a long time, even just to even it out. And the way that the ultimate economy is looking, the support ults are in their favour, but nothing else really seems like it's going their way here. Both the Russes have taken the shield perk, which I like, because from what we're seeing from both Josh and Flash, is they dive, they stick to one target. That shield's really effective.
Oh my god, Sedaris is going to be the exclamation point there, yeah. However, you know, you talk about ult economy, we did then use two, I mean, Terrasarge is not the most flamboyant out there, amazing.
Oh no.
Oh my
god. That's an incredible
that's
needle
such a
thread.
bad stagger as well.
Mats has threaded the needle all the way through the pillars to their objective, to Johnny's spawn point, and knocked him off the map as he's leaving spawn.
Oh, Firefight Flash, they might not have a touch. Oh, just about gets in there. There's the beat though. Johnny's in deep without the shield, is going to start falling. Terrasar's there for the health, but Armada has taken out Johnny. Oh
It's
my
not looking
god.
good for them.
That javelin of the century from Mats, that threaded needle, like you said, sent them off the point at 80% control. They didn't have a tank to get in there, staggered them completely. It's the small things sometimes, and wow, I bet Max is just so happy with himself because of that.
Oh, they have to be. That you couldn't have written that. That could have been pixel perfect, from what we know. We didn't see their side of the screen, but from throwing it past pillars to the spawn and hitting the most important target is actually unreal. The way that they've done it, yeah, awestruck is the only word I can think of.
And remember what I said, that undented armor of Glasgow Caledonian University. An arrow has just been shot through it, or shall we say a javelin has been thrown through it, because they have lost their first map of this entire bracket. And hold on a minute, it's from Abertay. They're not going to do that. They're in the loser bracket. They did the loser bracket run. They can't be doing this. Suddenly they are. And they're knocking at your door, and Glasgow Caledonian, well, they need to really, you know, work together here to get back up, because I think part of it is also Abertay just look a little bit warmer. They're starting this match just a little bit warmer than GCU are, which could mean the more we get into this series, the more we see GCU's strengths as a team, but also the more warm Abertay get. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
I fully agree. As the match progresses, GCU are going to warm up. They're going to get more into their flow. They're going to have that group work that is going to push them through. I think the Abertay are starting on a strong foot because they've already played a 3-map series. They've just gone 3-0. They have the playtime on their side. And the Chargers, they might look down on Abertay because Abertay lost to Edinburgh, who the Chargers beat. But then Abertay have also just then sweeped Edinburgh. So you can't count them out until the bell rings.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the fight's not over until the ref says it's over. And,
exactly.
There might have might not even be a ref if it goes the distance, if it goes to a 5-map back and forth barroom brawl. But so far, Abertay have really put GCU on notice. And it means that GCU are again going to get the map choice, which also means that they get the mode choice, so they have a lot more freedom to kind of direct us in a specific way. And of course, they'll still have the first map ban. But may I remind you, Abertay banned Cat. Whether that's because GCU actually do play Cat, or because Abertay were confident enough, either way, it means that Abertay have so many strong contenders for bans in the support role still, and of course both the other roles. GCU have already banned a big one in the Diva, so they can't go back to that. Means Mats can now play that where they were looking even stronger. And now you're thinking, do we then avoid Gibraltar? Do we avoid those kind of divey maps? Do we go to something where it's you can still play Diva but not quite as well, kind of force them more down the route of the Ramatra or the Orisa, which seemed to be GCU's preference there?
From the way that GCU have played in those two control points, they look like they want to play more of a brawl type of composition, less than a dive. Because even if they wanted to play dive, they banned Diva. They could have still played a Hazard. I know he's not very good right now. They could have played a Winston. They could have still run a dive comp, but they chose to play the Ramatra, and then they chose to play the Orisa when the Ramatra wasn't working. So, to me anyway, it looks like they want to play more brawl. They want to be in your face. They want to be controlling the fight. They don't want to be at Abertay's mercy.
Yeah, simply put, I mean, if you're not controlling the momentum's controlling you. And you want to be the one in control. I mean, speaking of, we now have the back end information about the map that they've chosen and the bans that have come out. And I am yet again going to skip ahead of our production and just start saying it because I'm that excited to talk about it. We will be going to a bush map, and drum roll please, that is Unasapi. Ban from GCU is going to be Kiriko. That's a big ban there. That's a target to end Sam. That's that triple kill that saved Night Market for Abertay. That's all the times we've seen end Sam really pop off on that character. They've just decided, nah, get rid of it. We don't want it here on Runasapi. Abertay have said, then you can't play Genji, because Genji has been banned on the other end. I think the Kiriko ban is a bit stronger, though, than the Genji ban. I don't know what you think about that, though.
The Kiriko ban is definitely a lot stronger. It gets rid of a lot of avenues for healing, because a lot of meta compositions currently will run a Kiriko and, say, a Lucio, a Kiriko and a Mizuki. It's all about the survivability that she has. It's all about the tools that she has. And if they're banning Kiriko, they could be trying to play a Tracer that's not going to be affected by that Suzu. They could be trying to play a Reinhardt that's not going to have his shatter blocked by the Suzu. That Suzu does so much for the team. It's a really impactful ban.
Well, now how will Abertay answer? How are they going to adapt to it? That's going to be the question, because now they're going to be put to the test when you don't have one of what would be one of your most picked characters available. How do you play when you're up against GCU? And to be fair, there's Donnie on the cap, so that'll be why. That's just a knowledge gap on my part. It could be that Donnie is, of course, just April fooling me and will swap. But hey, right now, that's a terrifying comp to look at in terms of just raw aura.
Oh yeah, the Alari pylon mixed with the cat healing, the aura the cat healing has, the amount it heals, also the fact that the cat can get high ground, can take the McCree to high ground, who can't normally get Cassidy, who can't normally get the high ground by himself. So much maneuverability and movement in just that one character. And there's a lot of edges here that could potentially mean environmental kills for the cat.
Rosh just got flattened. Johnny just followed up with the damage done. That amount of displacement you're going to see from this Wrecking Ball is going to be the key factor in them just winning these fights. Mats is just going to get taken down. They were just kind of whittled away at by the damage, picked and prodded, and finally will fall because you didn't have the Tracer to really, check those other angles. So yeah, this cat and hamster composition already showing much promise.
Very much so. But Abertay, they've seen the Kiriko ban and said, how about invincibility? They've locked in the Baptiste, which has a lot of very good utility within the gravity boots, being able to get some high ground, the invuln beacon, which could just stop a team from dying, but also the Baptiste window is very strong, because not only does it amplify his own healing, it'll amplify the cat's healing and the McCree damage from range.
GCU continuing to just kind of play coy here, wait their time, let it get into that open area where Flash can just fall up on fire. Ensam falls, and the problem with the Baptiste, right, is how sturdy and stable it is. Such a big dive target, a big red banner above their head for a Tracer, for a cat, for a hamster, and now GCU threatening that first point, that forward spawn. Abertay need to be careful that they don't let this get away from them.
The fact that the Baptiste has all of this maneuverability, can escape dives, it makes him a massive target, as you said. Because if they can remove that invulnerability beacon, the flying Deadeye almost got one.
They were keen to it though, they knew what was happening. Armada will open up against Flash, needs to back up, be careful. Cassidy will fall. Skyknight's founding Ensam, so you don't have a lot of healing still, so you have to be careful that it doesn't just slip away. But Donnie will fall, and that's going to be the most progress that GCU get. That Abertay get against GCU. GCU doing so well at playing where they're strongest in this open area. Now it's Abertay that get to dictate the fight.
They want to dictate the fight here. They have the overclock and the sound barrier. And Ensam has swapped from Baptiste over to Moira, which is an interesting choice. Although we do see Skyknight using the Captive Sun. He hits it straight onto Armada and he takes Armada down. Unfortunately, it doesn't hit anybody else.
Now Skyknight is going to be the focus of this heavy dive, but there's lots of trouble getting there. Meanwhile, the rest of GCU fall, and now it's GCU who are against it, because Abertay are going to get the lead now, and they could potentially get this forward spawn. There'll be enough movability for Johnny to touch, though, if they do want to try and extend it out, but Armada has that big, scary ultimate in their arsenal.
And if GCU have done their research and maybe they were watching the games, they'll know how much of a force to be reckoned with Armada on that overclock is. There were so many fights in the last series that were decided by Armada just pressing his ult.
Oh, talking about ult, there's the cat, off you go. Nope, gets stuck in a corner. Now the cat is going to get sprayed for being a bad kitty. Skyknight then takes down Fire. Wish I never said that. Armada takes down Flash. Matt's taking down Donnie finally. Johnny has put down the mines, which splits up the team temporarily, but Johnny will fall, and that means continuing to push Abertay. And you got to give them credit. The swap onto the Moira here to be more survivable is a very good choice from Ensam, and they've really adapted to what Glasgow have given them.
100% they have. They've seen they want to run dive, they want to run Wrecking Ball with the cat. I want to play more survivability, is what Ensam said. And Ensam now has 3 survivability tools in his healing orb and also his Wraith ability. But just looking at this fight, Armada has taken down 1, Mats has gotten another, Josh gets a kill with the flashbang. I don't know how that's happened.
Well, I'll tell you what's happening right now. I mean, Abertay are threatening to cap the whole map. They're at that final choke. Which, to be fair, is going to be extremely hard to get to with a Domina. A lot of damage, of course, is going to go through that Diva Matrix, so that will fall there to the damage, and they are finally, Glasgow, going to take control here. They swapped the composition, but now they're quite vulnerable themselves to these dive characters of Aberdeen.
The Domina Shield, it's not a full circle. You can still get around it. This Tracer will take full advantage of that. This Tracer's going to be playing the side angles, trying their best to get even a single pick. And yes, the Domina does have some anti-dive tools with the pushback, but it doesn't do all that much. It's not a long stun if you're knocked into a wall.
Is that the third ultimate that Max has eaten in this entire broadcast? It might just be because Sky Knight didn't get to have their ultimate go out. Nonetheless, it's just the pure damage. Sky Knight with the fury in their eyes was like, you just ate my ultimate, I'm going to pop off and kill free. That's what they did.
They might not have gotten the Captive Sun to connect with anyone, but they do still get the kills from the flight, which is one of the most impactful parts about that element is the free flight.
A bit of a reaction response from Johnny. Oh, Mats, there you go. That is the exact kind of character you want to take out, but you've lost Johnny, so suddenly it's not so much a one fight. However, Joss is going to find fire, secure that forward spawn now, and that means Johnny will get the forward spawn just in the nick of time, and they won't need to walk too far to get it. 2 minutes remaining, and it is getting much closer.
And if I'm not wrong, the Jetpack Cat here has taken the perk that, in their healing aura, if enemies are within that, they take damage, which makes the Jetpack Cat a really good dive character. They can dive a backline and kill a squishy very easily.
You can see how Matt went down to that again. Johnny going down. A lot of these fights, both tanks are dropping. This time, Donnie goes down. The ultimate from the Moira, that coalescence was really the key factor in keeping that fight alive for Aberdeen. And now they're in a solid control, but still 2 minutes on the board. This really could swing either way, but GCU need to get control again.
And we've seen that GCU had the forward spawn there, but they just didn't stagger Aberdeen enough. And all of Aberdeen was able to come back to point faster than GCU, so they take that forward spawn away from them and put them back to their original spawn points. And this neutral fight here, it's looking very sketchy for Aberdeen as Fire goes down straight away.
Yeah, very sketchy because you don't have fire, but Armada again just being the one to get eliminations. Johnny following up there on a lot of the damage that Sky Knight was putting out. Armada also drops. They're going to remake here just to stay in it. Matt actually gets the melee onto Sky Knight while that's happening, takes out their pylon with the ultimate. Johnny's just going to fall over here. There's not enough sustain to keep them alive now. GCU with 1 minute remaining. Aberdeen again look like they've taken a dire situation and turned it into a very winnable situation, but they have just lost their mech.
Now, they might have lost the mech, but the Diva's... Well, no, she went down immediately after. But Diva, after she's taken out a mech, she might be squishy, but she can still build that mech back very quick. It's just a matter of hitting those projectiles. She builds her ult so fast. She can get back in mech within a minute of being out of her mech, and then she's a force to be reckoned with. With that high HP, they do finally get a kill with the Jetpack Cat and Cassidy.
Yeah, now Arthur Morgan didn't spend much time in the sky, but if he did, that's pretty much what would happen. And a very nice, quick, easy fight for them, but it's going to get to overtime. It is going to be an overtime fight, but crucially that means overtime respawns. Any pick they get against Aberdeen here is going to be so important. You can see Donnie waiting, ready for the ultimate.
But not only is it important for GCU to push this robot as far as they can, as quickly as possible, Aberdeen currently have 117 meters, whereas GCU only have 75.
Yeah,
but they're quite a big disadvantage.
They're about to get more as it strolls forward. Aberdeen feel it slipping away from them now. They have this sound barrier and they're ready to fight at this choke, but at any point, this could slip away.
And Armada has swapped off of the Sojourn onto the McCree. He has the Deadeye ready. He drops it as the beat goes down, but it doesn't get much value.
Fire's going to find Joss, actually. Matt's still alive. Armada finds Sky Knight. That's 2 eliminations against GCU. They are falling apart. They don't have the pylon. John is down, and Johnny, the sole dominant on point, will fall. Abertay, don't let it slip away. And hello, is that 2-0
up?
Is that match point? Are Abertay actually gonna do this from the loser bracket to the grand finals and not drop a single map this broadcast? GCU looked like they had this one in the bag, but Abertay adapted on a very quick dime, and they're showing that they have earned every single win they have had today, and they're 1 win away from the big dub, from actually winning the grand finals here. This is astonishing from this team.
Oh, I fully agree. But not only is it looking the same as it looked last time in their match against Edinburgh, but they've gone to a control map where they have won 2-0 twice, 2 games in a row now. And then the second map they've gone to, they've won in overtime. Are we going to see them stomp first half and lose and get really close in second half, like we did in Kings Row? They seem to have a pattern forming here.
I mean, this is a bad look for Glasgow. They have twice now had map pick, twice now had first ban, and it's still not gone their way. Now Glasgow, they're a team that have done this before. They've battled for Glasgow. They've battled for Scotland. They are not a team that I think will necessarily get boomed out and lose at the mental game. So I feel like they're going to come back harder than we have seen them before. The Wrecking Ball didn't work, and now the Kiriko is going to be back. So you don't have that back line where it's a bit easier to get or force a Moira. Kiriko's back in. You can't ban the Diva. So now what do we ban? Sojourn? Is that who we ban? Just go for another one of the players' preferred picks?
Yeah.
Or are we going to try and maybe mold the Destiny closer to something that we want, or even maybe just protect a role? Because at this point, attacking the players' characters isn't working out for Glasgow.
And don't want to bring it up again, but Edinburgh also had map pick and first ban, and Abertay 3-0 them. And it's happening again. The Chargers have map pick and first ban, but as you say, the Kiriko's back in play. I would expect them to protect ban. I would expect them here to ban a role that they don't want to lose a hero in. Whoever they think their strongest player is, they need to guarantee their character. Or just go straight for Armada's throat, take away the Sojourn. Because that seems to be Armada's strongest pick so far.
Definitely. I mean, not that we didn't see them on the Cassidy and do well at, so it's not even like a kind of a slam dunk unless you pick a map where particularly the Sojourn would be strong. And Aberdeen are just really showing that you don't need to be in the central belt to be good at Overwatch. You can be further north and still bring the heat, and it reflects as well on other events like Battle for Glasgow, where it's like who cares who's the best in Glasgow when it doesn't matter if because none of them are the best in Scotland. It's like Abertay can sit back and be like, sure, yeah, have your wee battle, but we know we're better than all of you. And that right now is what Abertay can say. But if I had a penny for every reverse sweep, I'd have a couple pennies. It doesn't happen often, but it's still something that could happen, right? It's not out of the cards for Glasgow to just lock in and kind of prove why they're in the position that they're in. And
if it does come to be a reverse sweep, I think that says more about Glasgow's mental fortitude than it does about Abertay. Because the fact that they're 2-0 down right now, if they bring this back in a reverse sweep, they've shown that they might be the best in Glasgow. They have their battle for Glasgow. But when it comes to the battle for Scotland, they don't let it get to them. They pull out ahead when they need to.
Well, talking about pulling out, we're going to pull out for 5 minutes here. Give the players a bit of time to kind of focus and, circle up and get back to it. So we're going to drop into a break for 5 minutes, and we'll be right back with potentially the conclusion or the reverse sweep beginning, whichever route we go, of this grand finals. We'll be right back in 5.
Oh.
Maybe I won't be too late to my bed.
You might still get to bed in time.
We're on track. Let's go, Abertay.
Just a quick 5-minute stomp, The clip of Armada has been from Kings Row has been put into the general chat. from their POV.
This is just such an insane play.
Well, apparently we are not muted.
Oh my god. We're not muted.
Apparently not.
Oh, we've got a wee podcast going then, don't we? As long as we don't swear, we'll be fine. So chat, how you doing? Having fun?
Can
Enjoying
read the Twitch chat.
That's funny. I just cheered for Abertay.
Yeah.
Purely because I've got a bed I need to get to. I'm an old man now. That's why. No bias. Don't want a DM from Sky Knight or anyone.
Thinking we're rooting for one team or the other. We're not. We're unbiased.
I'm rooting for my bed.
Whichever team will get you to sleep faster.
I mean, I feel pretty awake watching these teams. It's been very good for Abertay.
Oh yeah, it's certainly the best Overwatch I've casted.
That is true. You can't deny that. back, folks, to the continuation of the grand finals of the Battle for Scotland. If the tournament's been a war, this is the final battle that will decide who is the best, and that's bragging rights that will be able to be used for as long until the next time you fight until to see who's the best. Abertay right now are proving that not only were they the plucky underdog on paper here, they might actually be the dominant team. I mean, we got a clip during the break there of Armada's perspective of the Sojourn clip on Kings Row against Edinburgh, and oh my god, it is a spectacle to say, and Glasgow are going to need to really bring their A game if they want to halt the progress and turn their fates around.
Oh yeah, and we have the map pick. It's going to be Havana, so we're looking at a payload map, and GCU have banned Sigma, and Abertay have banned Alari. Now, for Havana, I like the Sigma ban. It's more of a poke kind of map, especially early. That first little stretch of getting the payload moving. If you're running a good poke team, that's going to be really strong at stopping the enemies from moving. And then the Alari, obviously, able to sit behind the payload, able to keep their team alive and keep them all healed up without even having to really expose themselves to the enemies.
Yeah, it's a really good response band to kind of fight against that kind of poke style. And we saw GCU not afraid to play Domina, you know, and that's a very strong character to play poke that isn't Sigma. Now you're banking that Mats doesn't have that in their bank. Also, substitution. Instead of Flash, GCU are now playing Arrow to Thieve. Based off the name alone, I'm thinking Hanzo. But also, it could just be generally just, you know, better at poke hit scans in general than specifically a specific character. On the defense, it looks like they will be looking to go ye old classic Widowmaker. I mean, it's the map for it, right?
It's certainly the map for it, especially the first point here. Widowmaker on defense it can be strong if you can get those early picks. But GCU, Josh was the hit scan player, so I'm curious to see what the Widowmaker's going to swap to, as we see Josh locking in the Emery, so continuing the hit scan. But the rest of the team it's a very good roster, I want to say. They've got the Domina, and they have Wu Yang Baptiste. Very strong defense healers.
Yeah, lots of healing capabilities, but more importantly, lots of poke opportunities for the DPS lineup to follow up onto. And Max has kind of met this Domina and said, no, I'm not afraid to play Domina. It's something I can play as well. Very aggressive around this corner, taking it with this big arching barrier that Domina has. You see Armada looking to take that high ground there, but Ross had to back up at the same time. Armada taking a little bit of damage from it. Just have to be careful of this backline. They have teeth for their own. Meanwhile, the tanks are dueling at the front here. You see, just trying to push this payload forward. No one has fallen yet, but Mats is getting low. Ross again falls low, needs to get back out of the fight. And you have someone in Abertay so far behind, and that Widowmaker needs to be aware that they can get dove upon at any point. Immortality Field comes out from Sky Knight. That's a big part of this fight now, and that means you can be nice and aggressive from Abertay. They're taking so much damage that they can't quite follow up. Tracer's sort of alone here, but it's Max who finds Johnny. Finally going to open up the floods, and that's going to be Abertay securing first point, and only one fight as well.
It's one team fight, which is not normal for first point Havana. Normally you see one or two fights there, but the Domina specifically, with that 220, I think it's 225 now, each barrier segment has as much health as a Cassidy on 225. It's a lot of HP to break down to even just get to be able to see the enemy tank.
Meanwhile, Aberdeen are doing the equivalent of raiding London. Like, they're in the... they have pushed them back to their spawn at this point, and this has created so much space. Matt knows when to come out, doesn't take too much damage. Armada's sneaking, looking for the stealth archer approach of the overclock. Meanwhile, Matt is going to look for the ultimate here into that narrow corridor. Ross throws the pulse bomb as well. Ensam follows up, and oh my god, Glasgow are being punished for existing. I don't think anyone has died on Aberdeen yet.
I'm in the same boat. I don't think they have. That Panopticon barrier from the Domina into the choke onto even just 2 people gets so much value. It has so much HP to break, and it not only stops them from being healed, but also stops them from doing damage. And it does a hell of a lot of damage if you don't break it.
There was no touch, but that did actually force out both support ults from Aberte. So even though there wasn't a touch, and now we have 5 minutes in the time by going into third, like, hello, what? It's Havana? That's crazy. You don't have the support ults anymore, so Glasgow Caledonian need to take this time to utilize the fact that they have a little bit of an ult advantage.
Not only do they have the ult advantage, the time bank is almost insane. The 5 minutes going to point 3, they are also already on the bridge. The payload's just behind the Domina's set up on the bridge. And the fact that she's been allowed to take that much space and hold it without any more backup other than a Kiriko behind her is wild. The fact that she's able to have that much presence and the Chargers are just scared to push into her.
I mean, you know the phrase, they've got that dog in them, but the way that they're fighting so aggressively, Aberte have that dug in them. They are not letting go of any space. Every space is precious. Matt falls. That might be the first elimination against Aberte, and it might also be the last, because that point is right there. There's going to have to be a touch. Johnny invoking what we saw Aberte do earlier, going to Doomfist to touch, but unfortunately the follow-up
It's just not
there
enough.
against Armada's overclock, and they will finish Havana. They have finished Havana with 3 minutes and 29 seconds, and that has put Glasgow into a point where they need to match that if they want to stay alive in this grand final.
There was a total of 3 deaths on the side of Aberte in that whole half. That in and of
dominance.
itself, that is dominance. That is, they are asserting that they are the ones to win. They are putting their full heart and soul into this game. They want to make it out of here grand champions. They don't just want to be runner-ups. They want to be the winners of the finals.
I think it goes further, because not only if they do win here so dominantly will they be the grand final champions, they will do so to such a degree that it's a statement made beyond just this specific part of Battle for Glasgow, Scotland, but all of Scottish esports. That this is a statement made to the whole country that you know if you don't show up, Aberte are going to walk you down.
Exactly, and in 6 maps so far, they haven't lost a single map. They've played this. They are currently on their 6th map. They have won the last 5. That is dominance in and of itself in a grand final situation where the penultimate game of the grand finals, they don't drop a map, and so far they're 2-0. If they win this, they win the whole thing. If they lose, they get another chance to win.
I love this game plan as well. Close hold. The close holds are just purely designed to burn as much time as possible on the defense, and they know how much time they have, so they know that there isn't a lot of time for Glasgow Caledonian to play with, but Arrow to Thief will fall to fire, and this is looking like this close hold is going to do its job and just really suck away the time that is available until Ross gets shot twice by the Peacemaker and dies. That could also happen.
But not only do they hold close, they're holding close height. The Domina being on the high ground just gives her so much space for people coming out of spawn, whether it's low ground or high ground of spawn. She's able to hit them, she's able to deal bulk damage, she's able to potentially kill them. And it just gives them so much space to work with. And then, unfortunately, Abertay do go down. But look how far Glasgow have made it in a minute to a minute and a half. Abertay had already gotten the point a minute and a half in.
Oh, well, Ross falls, so the opportunity's here for Glasgow to take the momentum into their hands, but Artifact takes so much damage and Armada's going to follow up. And Glasgow Caledonians' advantage has whittled away suddenly, as they are they're not lethal enough. That's it, they're just not lethal enough. And the fact that you've lost your Cassidy at the start of that fight, of course, definitely doesn't help that fact. And that time is just draining away from you as you continue to try and get anything done. Tidal wave there for Abertay to try and confirm it. Arrow to Thief does come back. Vengeance against Ross. Sky Knight falling, so GCU, they don't have a lot of healing here. They have to be careful. Arrow to Thief falls again. And without Donnie, that's going to be tough. It's just Josh and it's Johnny. Well, that's a Kitsune rush. Very aggressive, and that's going to stop anything from happening from Glasgow.
And we see Ensam back on the Kiriko. Must be a comfort pick. They are very good at it. It just shows their dominance specifically. Like, you banned my hero last game, but I'm going to get it back next game. It doesn't faze me. We still won without my hero. And they have it back, and the Kitsune rush has been so vital in a couple of these fights already. And they've pushed them back into their spawn. Abertay are looking so good here.
60 seconds to call yourself a grand champion. 60 seconds to go from undefeated to walked down in the finals. And Arrow to Thief feels that pressure and thrives in it here by taking down Ensam, but Mats just immediately goes and takes him out with the micro missiles. Josh does find the pulse bomb, the D-Max there, but Ross finds Sky Knight. It's back and forth messy, but Johnny is fighting like Rocky Balboa and fists out, meleeing them down, and they are fighting tooth and nail to stay alive here in the grand finals. And Ross will finally fall. The Ensam left is also going to fall. Not a lot of time, but they have kept themselves alive.
But not only did Ensam run in and die, they ran in and died, but they wasted 3 seconds of their time. That 3 seconds could be a lot in the grand scheme of things. That could be the difference of getting overtime on the bridge or getting overtime in the castle. That one contest could be vital to their strategy here to win.
Again, it's just high ground's taken aggressively from Abertay, forcing GCU to be on the back foot and to extend their resources to take it. Arrow to Thief is going to force the Immortality Field to come out just for themselves. Stay alive! Nice headshot, followed up by Sky Knight, takes Ross out. Now that high ground can get easily contested. They're going to force TP away from Ensam, leaves them vulnerable. Meanwhile, Mats is going to fall as well. So now we're getting lots of momentum, a bit of a snowball here for GCU, but Armada gets the tidal wave just to stay alive and to continue to force, and by that point Immortality Field has come back up online. Armada falling, Ross falling, and now Glasgow, as they push the point and have lots of ults, they're a much better spot.
And Donnie's been doing a very good job on this jetpack cat, not only diving the enemy team, but also turning when they need to and keeping their own team alive. Using that healing aura to... well, they've taken the damage perk again, I believe. So they're getting a lot of good damage with that, but also a lot of good healing. Being able to dive the enemy team, use a little bit of util, then jump back and the util still be useful for your own team, it just gives them so much of an advantage.
Wow, from 15 seconds to Doom to 2 minutes 20 to take third point. GCU much healthier. This is the GCU I wanted to see, and this is the GCU they need to be for the rest of the series. I mean, Havana's a pure battle in its own, and they still have Donnie's ultimate. There's plenty of sea and ocean to dump someone into, and that's what Donnie will be hunting for, that arcade out of nowhere-esque ultimate.
Donnie will be looking for a support for that ultimate, so it'll either be the here he goes now, looking for the ult. He grabs fire, takes fire off the map,
Yep.
and then he's able to jump back to his team and just keep supporting his team.
Right.
That
perfect.
one pick, it's an incredible pick. It's stalking his prey, pretty much. Waiting for the right moment to strike, and then he finds the right moment to strike, and he follows through on it.
Yeah, less like a cat, more like a panther. Immortality Field actually does come out early there. They're not going to have this for the start of this next fight. There's just over a minute left, and that overclock from Armada's ready. I don't know if they saw that the Immortality Field's gone, because now would be the time to use this ultimate to really make the most use out of it, as they try and get control here of this defensive castle, building up that overclock. It's Matt who's going to find out Thief, who's on that flank. Josh has the blades here if they want to use it. They've lost 2 members though, and they're going to hold on to these ultimates and just go for this final fight. And that next fight is likely to be the last one. However, it's going to get a little easier because Armada just pulled the trigger on their ult.
Armada pulls the trigger on the overclock, takes down Matt's diva, Johnny's diva, and it leaves GCU with 30 seconds to push the objective. And that's not just push the objective, that's 30 seconds to get to the objective.
Oh.
And push it the rest of the way. It will take them into overtime here.
That's a stagger and a half. They need to be really careful here. They've got 15 seconds. If you demeg Johnny right now, it's pretty much over. Donnie just trying to stay alive. They're going to have to ult to stay alive. I think Donnie's going to have to touch this point. It's going to be actually the Genji of Josh who gets around, uses the play, takes out Armada. It's overtime. It's now or it's never. Kitsune Rush comes out from Ensam. They want to secure the win. They want to be the grand final winner. Fire takes out Sky Knight. Matt's arrow to Thief. Johnny doing their best, but writing is on the wall. Abertane from the loser bracket to the grand final here, continuing to apply the pressure, never ending, and proving themselves to be champions of Scotland as Abertane flawlessly strike out from the loser bracket to the grand finals, and they have made a statement tonight.
It was certainly an underdog story being put out to Edinburgh 3-0, and then coming back from the lower bracket all the way up to the semis, and then beating Edinburgh within the semi-finals 3-0, and then going into grand finals taking down Glasgow Caledonian 3-0. It's a story told many times, but to see it happen live is something completely different.
They didn't drop a map. Like they faced first Edinburgh, who had last time they faced 3-0'd them, and then faced Glasgow Caledonian, who to that point had not dropped a single map to get to the grand finals, and 3-0'd them. Abertay have really set the tone. Like, this roster is diabolically good together. All the individual parts so strong. From the back line to the front line, the whole thing looks golden. And then you put it as a unit, and Abertay are so good at understanding when to apply the pressure. On Havana, you saw it. They didn't let go. They didn't say, oh, thank God we won that fight, let's push the point for a bit. No, their domino was at spawn. They were not letting go. And it's that energy, that spirit, and that understanding of space that has just given them, earned them this outstanding win.
Yep. It's unreal. I believe we have an interview with a player. Is that what production have just said?
Yes, so we'll
Yes.
we'll go to like a short break just so we can set that up. We'll have a wee chat with one of the newly crowned top of Scotland players and see how
We will.
they are feeling. So we're going to go to a brief break while we set that up. We'll be right back with one of the Aberdeen players. So very quickly, the default meta for asking questions is
This love is ill. I wish that it was different. Don't know what it is that made us so indifferent. We're drifting in the dark. Can we do better? Wish I could rewind back to the start. Can we do better than this? Better. You got me high and drop me low. You got that something I can seem to let go. This love is ill. I wish that it was different. Don't know what it is that made us so indifferent. We're drifting in the dark. Can we do better? Wish I could rewind back to the start. Can we do better than this? Better. You got me high, then drop me low. You got that something I can seem to let go. You got me high, then drop me low. You got that something I can seem to let go.
Ayy, I got the recipe, never gonna let any op get the best of me. Thought it was distance, but haters is next to me. Talk to the spirit, you know I've been heavenly. Company definitely show your trajectory. This ain't a diss cause I say it respectfully. It's time to eat up, red like a speeder. Taking it deeper and that's how it better be. I never let the comparison get to me. I just remember the promises meant for me. I know the enemy and that he's sent for me. I keep the blood of the lemons my centerpiece. I cannot trust in no crystals or energy. Look at the chemistry, it do not even mix chemically. Most of the tricks they be gimmicks, they mimic the truth. It's poison and we got the remedy. There is a bomb, a apply it. The fire can stand to the tallest of giants. The tyrant and all the suppliers are scheming and lying. They selling his dreams and we buying it. Show me the chicken, I'm frying it. Show me the dough and I'm prying it. Ain't never lacking it, so what I'm packing, he taking it, he magnifying it. They say you ain't bout it. Tell them that you finna make it, but they doubt it. But you rose like a flower. Tell me what it's like to live with superpowers. I don't know, but I'ma get it. I'ma get it. I'ma get it. I'ma get it. I just know that I'ma get it. 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 Ayy. I got to drive to bust the truck, the gas is stuck. I ain't the one to rely on the luck. I put in work and then he show up. I know it's fake, this shit in the reps, ain't no regrets, I do too much. It ain't me if you saying I stunt. He calling the place and I do what he want. This ain't a front, glory to G-O-D. It's what you could do with a mustard seed. It's what you could do when you start to believe. Take fear and you cast it inside of the sea. 100% out of me, cause he gave it all on the T when he let it bleed. So what is you saying to me? You just insecure about the love that turned me to a beast. I take a step and I
Welcome back, folks, in the aftermath of an outstanding performance here in both the Road to and the Grand Final match itself. Abertay not only crowning themselves champion, but making a statement in the process of it. I mean, my God, what a dominant show!
Oh yeah, very dominant show.
So we're going to have an interview with Fire, I believe, from the team of Abertay. I'm not sure. Fire, are you here? I'm summoning you like a seance. Fire, are
It's
you
a
with
seance,
us?
yeah.
I'm here, yeah.
Perfect.
Hello?
Hello, how you doing? Well, first of all, congratulations on the win.
Congrats.
Well earned.
Thank you.
I just want to dive in. So, I don't have a lot of knowledge about your team's history or anything here, but when I came in and I saw you were on, fair to say, a loser bracket run, I thought, okay, this team, out of the 3 teams today, this team probably looks the weakest. They got 3-0'd by Edinburgh. How did you guys approach today? Was it more of an internal thing, or did you look at the other teams and come up with something that would specifically be good against them?
Yeah, so obviously we got 3-0'd by Edinburgh. We were missing like a couple of our players, which was unfortunate, but so we tried to make sure we could get everyone available for today, so we could give it our best effort, even though some members were definitely a lot like sicker than the others. NSAB actually couldn't give us any comms for most of the series because he's actually deathly ill, but we managed to convince him to just give it his best, and you know, he's an insane player, so it worked out for us.
Right, so scheduling and suffering through the colds or whatever illness they have, that's the key to success today, I guess.
Yes.
So I do have an out there question. Definitely never asked ever. How does it feel to have won? You've come as an underdog into the semi-finals. You've beat the team that beat you 3-0, and then you've moved into grand finals and absolutely smashed them 3-0.
It feels pretty good. I mean, it's the first time Abertay has ever won a tournament ever, to my knowledge. I don't think we've ever won anything. So it feels nice to finally have a win, and it feels nice because this is now my last official because I'm now graduating. So it feels nice to finally get a tournament win on my very last official ever played.
So you've ended it on a win and a high note, which has to be a good feeling.
Oh, it's a great feeling. I've been this whole, like my 4 years in uni, I was desperate to try and at least. At first, I just wanted to crack the top 3, just get a podium finish. And now we've actually won a tournament. So now it's even better. It's just honestly, it couldn't be a better way to go out, really.
Yeah, I couldn't think of a better way to end it off. And then I have one more question for you, and that's, how do you think your team has improved since you went into lowers, since you lost to Edinburgh 3-0? Have you improved as a team together, or have you improved separately and then come together to work better?
I think we've definitely improved separately, but we've also been able to come together and kind of work as a team. Because Ross, who was our flex DPS for this series, has not really, he doesn't have really had a ton of experience on the flex DPS with us, unfortunately. But he was able to fit into that role really well, and while he is on paper the weakest player on the team, he was definitely getting his job done and was definitely really proved himself. I think today. I think he should be really proud of himself for stepping into that role.
From the caster seat, Ross definitely had done extremely well game 1 into game 2, even when he swapped roles onto tank. But the Lucio gameplay from you yourself was crisp on specifically Li Jiang. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Yeah, there was a point where someone had Blizzard. I forget where in these matches it was, and it was your boop kill that killed them before they got the Blizzard off. I forget specifically where that happened, but that was quite impressive. I would like to ask: Is Armada actually a human being or just a computer in human form?
There's rumors that he's actually Weave's prodigy. If anyone remembers Weave, there's rumors that he's up and coming, and he's being trained by the legend himself into that hit scan role.
Oh, that immediately gives me the vibe of the Karate Kid or something, just really coming up and doing it. So after 4 years of trying in a triumphant fashion, you have become a grand champion. You and the rest of the squad have done it in a fashion where it's undeniable that you were the better team out of all the teams here. Do you have anything you'd like to say on stream? Anyone you'd like to mention or call out or thank or anything?
Well, obviously, I want to thank the team that played today. Everyone played insanely well. Matt had some insane eats on some ultimates today on that D.Va. It was absolutely insane, the amount of blizzards he was able to eat. Ewan just was getting picks left and right. Just really good performance. Ross, honestly, was really, really good at actually stepping up into that role, as I said, and just getting his job done. And actually, I would argue that he was actually diffing some of the other flex DPS. But yeah, I'm a bit biased in saying that, obviously. And Sam playing on, deathly illness, is still putting in a crazy performance because that guy's the best. And also, shout out to the subs who obviously never got to play, but they did play in the other matches, and they've honestly have had some really good performances, and they've honestly won a lot of matches for us when stepping up into those roles as well. So shout out to everybody on our team, really.
Right, amazing. It's great to hear the camaraderie that's in the team, and we'll let you get back to that team now, so you can go celebrate. And once again, congratulations to you and the rest of the team for this very dominant win here tonight.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
And to the stream, that is us. 2 best of 5s went by in a blink. 2 3-0s and a dominant show, and that's what we have tonight. But we have crowned a best of Scotland team tonight. The battle is over and the crows are feasting, but only one stands tall. Do you have any final thoughts about what we've seen today, Cammy?
They might have been underdogs, but they definitely showed their dominance. We've said it multiple times throughout the stream. They done their very best. They played very well, but there was crucial moments where they just stepped up and they were just the better team. And it was always under pressure, which shows that they are just the better players. And congrats to them.
Yeah, I mean, that Gibraltar save alone,
oh yeah,
so close, literally an inch, and he saved it and won the map because of an outstanding performance from everyone, and a brilliant showcase of Overwatch. But alas, that is us over. Thank you for watching, everybody, and thank you, Cammy, for joining me, and of course to all the producers and observers behind the scenes that make us look pretty while we're out here.
Very much.
Again, one last congratulations to the new champions of Abertay. Don't forget to laugh loud and love yourself, folks. Good night.
He goes in and he steals the Baron.
Oh yes.
Wishing I could just free fall into you. Words dripping from my lips like forbidden honey. Heart in your stomach on the verge of running. Deep down you probably always saw it coming. But I thought I could let go. Dodging echoes. Deep down I probably always saw it coming. I think I saw it coming. But it was too much to say, too much to face down. Save face and hope it would work out. Played safe and hope that you come around. But now it's too much to take, too much to figure out. Checkmate, nothing to say now. Dead weight, we're on the way down. Now I'm